Welcome, one and all, to the Tao Show. This is episode 11. We have a music producer today, a songwriter, a god amongst men, a god gamer when it comes to Apex, Fortnite, you name it, he's a god gamer at it. The man who has an accent... My bad. The man who has an accent crisis every time they sing. Please welcome Alterclad. How are we doing today?
Yo, 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 hello. We're doing good. Thank you for having me.
You like the little accent crisis I put in there?
Yeah.
I saw a tweet.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet yesterday while making your questions a little bit, and I was just like, I gotta come up with a great intro. Like I always like to hype them up, and immediately at the end, like, oh, they're also this, like a down bad person for VTubers, or for you, a man who has an accent crisis. Gotta have something. So I was trying to dig up some type of dirt, and I found something.
We're going through it with the British ancestry coming out somehow, I guess.
Are you British?
No, I'm not.
It's like if
I'm not at all. That's what the confusing part.
Oh man, you want a cup of tea? I'm not British at all.
What?
A bottle of water.
Maybe my great grandfather, or something. Maybe it's probably somewhere in there. I've got like European lineage.
Dude, I just got tagged by one of my friends and for something about Diablo, and I had to laugh. I don't know why this brought up to my mind, but last night I had a weird dream about Diablo that my character died.
Oh no, wait, hardcore mode though?
Yep.
Oh god.
Because I will say I'm playing hardcore mode right now. I think I'm like level 38 or something right now.
Okay.
But I died like 3 or 4 times now. So I just had a full-blown nightmare that I died.
Oh no. Yeah, that's bro, I can't even imagine. You have insane levels of commitment to be playing hardcore in that game.
I mean, it's been helpful to get my mind off things. So I'll take anything I get from that.
That's fair. It's a good challenge for sure.
So I wanted to start off with some fun questions, and since we're on Diablo, I usually start off with introduce yourself. But I wanted to go over games since I started talking about Diablo all of a sudden. What type of games are you into, man?
I mean, obviously Apex is a big one for me. But outside of Apex, I'm a very not first person, but like I'm very much of a solo, like single player story narrative type of person. Like more recently, I think one of my favorite games was Nier Automata. That one has a very special place in my heart. And then like games like, I don't know, Kingdom Hearts still, like even after all these years, Kingdom Hearts is still like one of the best games that I've ever played. And just like those type of games, right, where it's very story driven and about like the characters and their experiences, right? Those are typically the type of games I enjoy most.
So you said Nier Automata, right?
Yeah, Nier Automata.
What part are you into? Is that one of your favorite games of all time then?
I'd say it's, yeah, I think it could be all time, yeah. It's a very good story. And it's like, I think it presented a bunch of new ideas that I had never seen in the game before. And that's what I think really made it special to me.
I mean, Nier Automata has always been a great game. I have never heard one bad thing about the game. I've never played it personally. I always wanted to.
You gotta play it. Yeah,
I gotta play it because it seems like a game I would love. Is it the one that if you gotta play like 3 times to get like the full story?
Yeah, that's the thing with it, right? It's got like different POVs essentially from the story, right? So you play it once as one character, then you play it again as another character, and you get all like these different sides of the story presented to you, like, and it kind of like fills in the gaps and missing pieces from the first playthrough, right? And so it's really neat in terms of how they set it up like that. Another option too, because they actually recently remade the prequel, I guess, to it, Nier Replicant. So I actually recommend probably playing Nier Replicant first, as it takes place before Nier Automata, and then like I think there's so many like, I guess, Easter eggs or like references in Nier Automata that like reference to Nier Replicant, right? So I feel like if you are gonna give the series a try, maybe you start with that one and then play Nier Automata, because I kind of wish I did, because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't at the time Near Replicant wasn't out, like the remake of it. So I feel like there's a lot of like little secrets that I missed out on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I want to play at some point. It's been one
Hmm.
of the games that have been on my list for a while.
Yeah, it's
Um,
amazing.
but there's so many other games I want to do because I think that's a game I would love to stream. But I also want to
Hmm.
just play on my own time.
Hmm.
And with how my content has been going, I've been leaning more into like challenge type content, which I don't know if you
Okay.
know what that means or not.
Yeah, like more. I think actually we've talked about this
Mm-hmm.
before, in that. Oh, I mean, Diablo. Since we were literally just
Yeah.
talking about that, like I feel like that's a prime example of what you mean, where you're playing hardcore mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I
just taking the game to the limit, basically.
To give you an idea, I have never played a single Diablo game in my life.
Mm.
I have never played a game like Diablo in my life.
Yeah.
And here's me going on hardcore mode. And when they ask me, do you want to do a tutorial? Here's me. Fuck no, I don't.
No.
And shoots it to the side. I died at level 8. But, you know, the next playthrough, the next one I did, I got to level 30, like 35 before I died. So,
Hey, that's a big step. Like you're making progress, right?
I must be pretty god gamer if I, made that far compared to some
Wait,
people.
so I have to ask now, actually, because
Hmm.
I think a lot of people will play the main campaign before doing hardcore. Have you even like finished the main campaign, or you just went really into hardcore mode?
Um, nope. I'm on. I think.
Wow.
I think I just completed Act 4, my last time.
Okay.
So I'm on Act 5.
Mm.
But I want to play hardcore mode. I'm gonna. If I die on Act 5, I will not play on a different playthrough. I am legit just going through on Act 4.
Okay, that's crazy.
I refuse to back down from the challenge.
I feel that, but I don't know, because of like my preferences for like narrative and story. Um, I feel like I need a good balance of the two because I
Mm-hmm.
do really, really enjoy like a good challenge from a game.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want it so hard and challenging to the point like it impedes my enjoyment of the story, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if I'm stuck on the same spot for like a week, then it's just like okay, I think we need to tame it down a little bit here, right? But I do like the challenge aspect, but I don't think I'm as passionate about it as
Mm-hmm.
you or other people.
So when it comes to challenges, it's more or less the content for me. The
Mm.
From the challenge. I actually prefer story to gameplay.
Mm.
I'm a big fan of God of War Ragnarok. I played that, and that's
Mm.
my favorite game of all time.
It is very good.
I love Skyrim. I love those type of games. It
Mm.
is so mind-boggling that whenever I say I love to do challenge content, it's more or less because I love the content aspect of it. I think it's really
Yeah.
fun content. I think it's really fun to challenge yourself in ways to make a game
Yeah.
harder. 'Cause I have plenty of ideas when it comes to making a game harder.
Mm.
Some of them are stolen ideas, but I want to put them into my own way.
Yeah, I feel like that's normal.
Dud Dug is one of the inspirations for me, where
Mm.
he did a gameplay of like how he completed quests of Skyrim on one HP. I
Oh
want
my
to
god.
beat the entire main story of Skyrim on 1 HP. The
That's
entire story.
insane. That's actually insane. So, oh my god, I can't even imagine.
So it's going to be a
Doing just one job mode.
mind-boggling issue. But as soon as I move out, that's going to be my first plan. 'Cause I want to do
Mm.
challenges with it.
Mhm.
So a challenge could be like I eat a raw egg on stream.
What? Wait, is this a batsu or like what's the context of the raw egg here?
Pretty much I would just be eating the yolk, not the white stuff. The,
Okay.
the yolk is. I'm not gonna full blown goatee and a raw egg, but I will do it like I do whenever I'm prepping an actual food. It wouldn't be much of a issue for me because I have ate raw egg before. It's not a big issue for me because I know one of my favorite
Mm.
dishes is kamatama udon, which
Okay.
is udon noodles with
Mhm.
kimchi, some green onions, some basil, some salt over the udon to get it some taste, and to add it on top, you can add like celery or carrots too, which I do to make it a little bit
Mhm.
healthier. But you put a raw egg on, and to make sure it doesn't, I want to say if it floats, it's bad.
Float. Oh.
If an egg floats, you don't want to eat it. I believe it's been a while since I've flipped up. Don't quote me on that. I usually have to remind myself every time I make it to figure out if I'm right or not.
You have to Google it every time. I feel that.
Pretty much. But I know how to make it by heart, pretty much.
That's an interesting dish. Can't say I've tried it. Don't know if I want to, but
I mean, if you're not a big fan of raw egg,
sure.
pretty much what I do is I pop the egg, and I love watching the thing like go around, because the egg is technically the sauce. But
Okay,
I personally like it. I wouldn't eat it constantly. It's not my favorite dish. My favorite dish is yakisoba.
Yakisoba's good.
What is one of your favorite dishes?
Favorite dishes? Oh, there's so many good options out there. God.
Or if it's easier to say, what's your favorite style of cuisine?
I mean, I'd like to say, I mean, as weeby as it sounds, Japanese is great, and I love I love a lot of Japanese dishes. But I don't know, if I honestly had to pick like a style, I'd probably just stick to like Western cuisine, because I feel like my experiences with Japanese cuisine, or just really like any non-Western cuisine, it's not like I'm not experienced enough with the entire, variety of all the foods out there, right? So I'm sure there's a lot of like Japanese foods that I don't like, but I've only ever experienced what they usually serve in restaurants and stuff, right? So I don't want to say I prefer Western or Japanese cuisine wholeheartedly, but I guess if I had to pick one that wasn't Western, we'd probably just go with that. Many good dishes.
I personally understand that full-heartedly. A lot of people have this concept that everything of a certain thing, whether it's Mexican food, Italian, or Japanese, everything's good, which is not wrong.
Yeah.
Everything is good to someone, but there's some things that won't be good to other people. Like,
of course.
One of the big ones I know that is talked about quite a bit is, what is it called? It's the soybean thing in Japan.
Oh.
Natto.
Yeah, natto, yeah.
A lot of people don't like that, but some people do. I probably wouldn't like it.
Yeah, it's funny.
Unless I close my eyes, I'll probably like it, but...
Yeah, like, I don't know, whenever I see natto in anime, like, it's always, like, made out to be this, like, gross and, like, unappealing dish. But I feel like everybody that I've heard of that's actually tried it IRL, like, for real, like, tried it themselves, it seems to be something that's actually pretty good. Like, I feel like I've heard more people that like it than dislike it. So, I don't know.
I've never had it. I plan on trying it at some point.
Maybe I'd like to try, yeah.
I might do it for a challenge then.
That's a good idea. I wonder if they have it on Amazon. If
I die in Skyrim, I have to eat natto.
Watch you end up loving it.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious.
It's gonna be a batsu. It's just gonna be like your new go-to dish.
That would be kind of funny. There's another.
Oh no, I have to eat natto, guys. This sucks so much.
What's that one fruit that everyone dislikes as well? There's another one.
The fruit.
I think
like the one. Isn't there like one that stinks?
Yeah.
Durian? Yeah, I think durian, right? Yeah.
That'll be the other one I would add on the list is durian. That I have to eat like part of durian. I probably would not like that if it smells.
I think kind of on the topic though of like cuisine, you mentioned Italian, and I didn't even think about Italian. Italian actually is, I don't know, it actually might pass Japanese cuisine for me. Because I don't think I can think of an Italian dish that I don't like. Like the pastas, the pizzas, like bro. There's too many good things. I'm a fiend for spaghetti.
I know.
So it's like any pasta dish is just busting for me.
So I know one big thing that I don't want to tell a lot of people too much, but when I was in college, my first year, I got so lucky with my freshman year. I had 6 or 7 classes. Like, it was a big amount of classes I had. I think it was 7. But all my classes were on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I didn't have to worry about... I had a 5-day weekend, pretty much. Not 5-day off.
Nice.
I think it was a 4-day weekend. Constantly. It was so nice. And one of my classes was on a Wednesday. It was
Mm,
no, it was on Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday we'll go over like dishes and stuff. Thursday we'll actually make them, and
mm,
it was a cooking class. And this one was an international cooking class, so we went over a bunch of different like meals and stuff. As well, we made a bunch of meals. We got to pick
mhm,
which one we wanted to do. So like going over to like the more Poland area, Norway, stuff like that. I made pierogies at one point, which is really
mhm.
good.
The brogies.
Mhm. I think it was the British Isles. I did shepherd's pie. I'm going off of, 'cause
Mm,
I don't remember the other dishes I did with them. I know in when we went to more Mexican type cuisines, I did tapas. I think it's not Mexican,
tapas.
but it was, I forget what tapas is big in, but it was wherever tapas are big in, it's like an appetizer or a snack.
Mm.
It's a Spanish cuisine. I did these caramelized onions tapas, which I want to remake, but I completely forgot the recipe, even though I memorized it by heart. It is
Oh
so sad
no.
because I stopped making them after a year, and immediately my brain was just like, "Oh yeah, remember those one things? Yeah, we don't remember how to make that now."
Like we remembered how to do that like a month ago, but now that you actually want them, it's just gone.
Yeah, and when you don't want them, we remember. You know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, the brain's a funky little thing.
Yeah, for the final of the exam, we had to make our own dishes.
Mm.
Like we got to pick what country. I picked Japan, obviously. I did ramen, and
Mm.
I did a very funny thing to my teacher. I made instant ramen at first, and she's like,
Oh no.
"Dude, what the fuck? This isn't Japanese." I'm like, "Oh, you thought this wasn't?" And then I presented my actual dish, which was
Oh,
an
the little
actual thing of
troll.
ramen. I did
Okay,
a
thank God
fucking
you redeemed
troll to
it.
her.
Yeah.
No, that was the type of menace I was in school, and everyone died laughing. Because I mean, it's a funny trick. I mean, I
Mhm.
presented ramen noodles, like instant ramen, and then an actual
Yeah.
dish of ramen. And I forget the side dish I made. I think I just did a side dish of like sushi or something. But it was
Mm.
just more or less, I did those, and that was about it. Like, it was probably one of the best ramens I ever made.
Mm.
And I've always been a big fan of making food, and because of that, I got a big interpretation of every place. Uh,
Mm.
because during the period of time, we made the food, we ate the food, we did all that. Like we made a big portion of it so everyone could try at least one, and even if
Yeah.
they'd like it, they could take it with them to
Mhm.
the dorms, which we did. I took home a lot of stuff a bunch of times, especially the stuff I made, because usually with the stuff I made, I knew I was gonna like.
Mhm.
So I took that home and took stuff other things home. So I had a
I
bunch
mean,
of
uni,
things.
you gotta take them whatever you can get.
Pretty
Gotta save
much.
on that money.
It saved me a lot of money. I didn't have to worry about
I
anything. It
bet.
was like the best weeks. Um,
Yeah.
just because I didn't have to, make anything except whatever I made in class. That was kind
Yeah,
of free.
exactly. That's huge. That's huge.
So
That's
I'm.
cool though. Hmm?
Oh, never mind. What was you gonna say?
I was just gonna say I wish I was more into cooking.
Mm-hmm.
I did actually literally last week I bought a new cookbook. And this is gonna be hopefully my introduction into more dishes because I have like sort of a small repertoire from what I learned at home, but it's very limited, so I really need to like expand my horizons a bit. But this book that I bought, this thing is hefty. It's
Mm-hmm.
like so much bigger than I thought it was gonna be. Like I could use this thing as a dumbbell. Like I could lift weights
Mm-hmm.
with this book. Like I could, do some, curls with this thing. It like it's thick. So I'm excited to dive into it a little more. It's like almost 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a hefty read. But it seems to be highly rated. So hopefully, maybe in a year from now I'll be chefing it up crazy. That's the goal.
I know a lot of things I want to do is I have to move out first.
Mm.
'Cause I want to do a bunch of cooking streams at some point. Because I have a One Piece cookbook that I've had for a year and a
One
half,
Piece cookbook.
and
Nice.
I was super excited to have it, but I haven't made a single goddamn thing out of this book
Mm.
because I haven't had time, and I
Yeah.
was gonna wanting to do them on stream and stuff.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I will say I have made 3 things, and that was the onigiri and the what was the thing I made from curry on this? But everything else I want to try at least one time.
Is
So,
it like a lot of Japanese cuisine? Because I feel like it would mostly be Sanji inspired dishes,
it's a
no?
lot of Sanji inspired dishes, like stuff they have presented in the anime.
In the show, yeah. But doesn't he like make?
Some of
I don't
these
know, like,
are
does he make?
Japanese dishes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like I haven't seen that much Japanese cuisine in One Piece, but also haven't like watched that much, so I could be off the mark a bit in that regard.
I also plan on like getting a couple Food Wars like episodes and
Mm,
making like one of the dishes from them.
that's a great idea.
Which would be fun, really fun. But the only
Mhm.
issue is I don't have time, nor do I have the place to do it.
Time is always the issue, yeah.
But yeah, one of the big ones is like the fried rice in the episode with Jin. When they did the sky, in the Sky Island, how he made sky seafood extravaganza, they have that. A lot of the stuff you can see, they even have like parts of the manga of when they were introduced. So they have like
Oh, that's cool.
they have like the apple pie that I think not Sanji made. I don't think it was apple pie. They have exploding apples um that were eaten that I will try at some point. There's a couple of things I won't try because I know I won't like them. But I might still give it a shot because I don't like flan.
Flaunt?
Flan.
Oh, flan. Okay, yeah,
I fucking hate the texture of it. And every one of my friends love it, and I'm over here like, this looks like shit.
yeah.
I
You
want
can't
to like
everything.
I want to like it, but come on. It doesn't look appetizing.
Hmm.
It looks jiggly.
That's cool though. I feel like having a cookbook inspired by a series you like is actually a really, really good way to get more into cooking.
Mhm.
Like, because then like you have like these positive associations with the recipes, and I think that makes probably more everybody more inclined to make them rather than just
Mhm.
skip over them. So that's I might have to try that actually. I have to find some cookbooks inspired by anime.
I mean, it's a good way to get into it. They have the recipes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I will never claim to be the world's best chef. I am very much so what I would consider average. I know how to make, I know how to cook, I know how to do some things from scratch. I know how to make some recipes by heart. I guarantee if I really decided to go hard on the tapas, I probably could remember how to do them. 'Cause I know it's like brown sugar, olive oil, and the third one always boggles my mind. I think it's just vinegar or something.
Oh, okay.
But that one always like loses my mind. Everything else I have perfectly. Like temperature is always at 350 in the oven. You caramelize for about 12 minutes. You put it in the oven for 6 minutes. You have these like garlic toast type bread. You put the onions on top, and you put a stick of like sharp cheddar on, or sharp white cheddar. Those are what I go with.
Got that memorized.
But it's always the third ingredient that always boggle my mind. It could just be freaking water or something, and I wouldn't know. I'm over here like, what is this?
Olive oil.
That would be hilarious. It was just like vinegar. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
god, oh god.
It's always the simple things, right?
Always.
Yeah, I need to find me a Evangelion cookbook. Then maybe I'll start going crazy in the kitchen.
Is Evangelion one of your favorite animes?
Yeah, definitely. It's tied for favorite with the third Madoka Magica movie, Rebellion.
Really?
Yeah, I love them both, but for very different reasons. I feel like they both resonate with me for like on different levels, right? And for like different angles, I guess.
So would you consider those your favorite animes of all time, or is there a couple other ones that you might put above those?
No, those are definitely the top, but I feel like my top animes are very all over the place. Like I think Yuri Yuri is probably also one of my favorite anime of all time, which is the polar opposite of Evangelion, but You know, it's just it's a 10 out of 10 slice to life for me.
I,
But yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag. My top
is it
shows.
is it one genre that you resonate with the most, or is there just multiple?
If I had to pick one genre, it probably would be the more like psychological,
Mm-hmm.
you know, human mind analytical type thing. I mean, that's what I really love about Evangelion, is it's less about robots and more just about the human mind and like
Mm-hmm.
how we all exist and are like just trying to like live on this planet. And I think that's the beauty of Evangelion.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if I had to pick like one genre, it'd probably be those, but I don't know. It's also a very exhausting genre, so I feel like I wouldn't watch that much anime if that's all I could watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like watch one show a year, and then it's like, okay, I'm mentally exhausted from the show, so no more anime.
I think the type of shows I like is very vast. I can watch
Mm,
almost anything. I love rom-coms. I love comedies. I
mm,
love just flat out romance. Spice Wolf is
mm-hmm.
by far one of my favorite animes of all time. Kaguya
Yeah,
Sama's
goated.
up there.
Mm,
Shonen I would probably put high up there because Shonen has stuff like Haikyuu and One
mm-hmm.
Piece. Two of my
Yeah,
most
there's some amazing shonen.
Haikyuu. I will say most of my top 10 is a lot different than most people would expect.
Mm,
Because my top 10 is very strange. You could not. I guarantee you a lot of people are like, oh, I can see that. But there's a couple that people would be like, really? 'Kay, I've seen well over 700 anime, and my top 10
mm.
has Spy X Family at number 10, Gintama at
Okay.
number 9, Code
Okay, good
Geass
choice.
at 8,
Mm-hmm. Goated.
Fate Zero at 7,
Ooh, good choice.
Vinland Saga at 6, One Piece at 5, ReZero
Okay.
at 4, Mob Psycho at 3, Steins Gate at 2, and Haikyuu at number 1. Vastly
Damn,
different.
okay. Some, yeah, unexpected shows in there,
I think
but
the
also a lot of goated shows too.
I think the biggest one that people are always shocked about, but also not shocked about with me, is Spy X Family.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Spy Family in top 10.
Spy X Family is something that no one would ever expect, but the reason it's so high is because of how connected I am to the series.
Okay, that's like personal
Yeah,
weight.
a lot more personal stuff because
Mm,
it has helped me tremendously with the times I've been going through lately, with like
mm,
feeling a lot more depressed and all that. This show, it really brightens up my day quite a bit because
mm,
it's wholesome. I love a good wholesome show, and Spy X Family is that wholesome show I love.
mm-hmm,
But it's also the show that, as of last year, because I battled 2 versions of depression last year.
mm,
October was a completely vastly different depression from what I had for a while, and the first depression I went over was about my future, and
mm.
watching Spy X Family gave me hope for a future, pretty much. And that's why it's so highly up there. I have rewatched the anime 4 times already,
Holy,
and I've reread the manga 4 times as well.
god
Fully.
damn, you really do like Spy Family. Okay.
So if that gives you any idea how much I love the show.
Yeah, yeah, that was more than I expected.
So it is most definitely one of my favorites just because of that. Haikyuu is also something that is very emotional for me because it came at a time where I didn't have passion for anything, and I started developing some passion for volleyball, and when I finally watched this anime, my passion for volleyball grew, and I grew passionate about something, which gave me more passion to do cooking as well, even though it had nothing to do with Haikyuu.
Okay. So it has again more like personal weight
Mhm.
to it. I
Most
was wondering because I feel like Haikyuu is not a show I usually see as people's number one.
Mhm.
I've heard really good things about it. I've heard it's an
Oh,
amazing
it's
show,
fantastic.
but it's usually not something I hear as like, oh, that number one for me is like
Mhm.
Haikyuu. Like that's not something I hear often. So, but it makes sense with the whole personal aspect of it.
Mhm. And that's I write down on my list of like the shows that gave me emotional impact. One Piece is so high up there because of emotional impact it had on me. Mob
Yeah.
Psycho up there with emotional impact. I think I watched that. I want to say this year. I watched it, and that helped me quite a bit. But it also made me really depressed because goddamn, what a sad like little bit happened at one point, but it was like such a great end.
Yeah, it's a good show.
I was wearing this. I think one of the big ones that I can kind of give some detail with to people was I was writing a One Piece script. I don't know if it was last year. I want to say it was this year, but it could have been last year. And I want to say it's last year now that I think about it. I've had this script written for so long, but I'm waiting to use it. It's a good script. It just more or less I'm waiting for the right time. But when I was making the script, I had a completely different approach because I was getting ready to make a series about my top 5 favorite anime of all time. Which is why I'm delaying it a little bit until Haikyuu, like the movies get announced or a certain day. I want to release that on the same day.
Okay, good idea.
But One Piece, I was reading over. I want to remember the exact volume. Hold on, give me one moment as I go through my collection. I think it was volume 60. I was going through it, and there was a moment. I don't know. Have you read or watched One Piece at all?
I've only watched up to like, I think episode 150-ish or somewhere.
Okay.
It's like, I think I finished like the Sky Island arc. I think that's where I kind of dropped, or not dropped it, but I haven't watched it since then.
I know everyone's heard of the person's, death, but I don't want to say who it is, even though people have heard it.
Well, I don't think I know about this either, so yeah, don't mention it.
So I'm not gonna say, but there was someone's death that happened, and Luffy in this moment was distraught, and he's punching the walls. Like, this is the first time you see Luffy's depressed, and he's punching everything. He's upset, rightfully so. And Jinbei comes over and is like, Luffy, what the fuck you doing? And pretty much their discussion made me cry so much. Because during that moment, I remembered one thing. Because at this moment, to give you guys a little more context of this, before this happened, my cousin died. And my cousin was very close to me. And when I saw Luffy counting on his fingers, I started counting my fingers. And immediately started crying. And in this video that I will release, I mentioned that. And it was supposed to be a very fun video where I talk about some of my favorite moments of One Piece, but it turned into me talking about how much this has impacted me, especially on this one day. So I am very excited to release it. But it's also, like, not going to be released for a while. And they have other anime I like. I think some of my favorite animes are, like, the Slimy Sky. I love those type of shows.
The what?
That time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Oh, yeah.
I love that show.
I'm gonna be honest. I watched like the first season and dropped it.
Okay,
But I heard it gets better. Like, I know it gets better. I've heard that. I just like I didn't get past the first season and I haven't picked it up since then. But maybe one day.
Funny you said it like that because I also dropped it. So when it comes to that time I got reincarnated as a slime, I dropped it because of the fucking lizard. I found him so goddamn annoying. And I hated it. And I was just like, I'm done with this show. And my friend, I'm going to call him out, Langert, decided to be like, hey, you should actually watch it again. I'm like, no, I'm good. And non-stop talking about this show. And I was at the time, I'm trying to figure out a video to make at the time. And I heard that Slime was still coming on, like season 2, because he was talking about season 2 part 2. I'm like, okay, it might be a good time to make this a video then. So I was going to like talk bad about it, but I'm like, I don't remember that much about it, so I'm going to rewatch it. I'm going to rewatch it fully. And by God, was it so much better than the second watch through. I still don't care for like the lizard arc. Like it had a good, like I like parts of it, but by God, I dislike the goddamn lizard. He grows on you though, but I fucking hate him.
Sometimes there's characters like that just like there could be a single character that just like ruins the whole show for you. Like, I don't know, like freaking Zenitsu from Demon Slayer, bro. I hate that character. I hate him so much. He like low key. I think about dropping the show sometimes just because of that one dude. Because like I don't know, it's just annoying every single time he's on the screen. And I know there's a lot of Zenitsu lovers out there, so I'm sorry, but I can't stand the dude. But
then he turns into a badass. You're like, oh, that's why
yeah.
I like him.
Like when he's sleeping, that dude goes crazy. And the thing is, like, I love electric type like based like abilities. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's like anytime someone has like electric abilities, I'm like that's my favorite. You know, they're so sick, and I just love how it's presented in anime. But Zenitsu, it's like, bro,
Bro,
like
what the
just
hell?
close your mouth a little more, please. Come on. But yeah, going back to the slime show, it's I feel you. I feel you. It can be like that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, the show it had that issue that a lot of isekai shows have, where it's just the slime guy. I can't remember Remiru, I think was his name, right?
Yeah.
He was just OP, right?
Yeah.
And it just made the first season so boring to me, because it was just suffering from that same issue that so many isekai suffer from, where there was no real like threat or like
Mm-hmm.
opposition at any point in the show. There's really never like anything on the line. There's no, really problem ever. And so it's
Yeah.
just like, something bad happens, Renmiru pulls up, saves the day, and everything goes on as usual. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
just, it was still formulaic isekai for me.
Yeah.
But I've heard again that that does get better in, I think, the second season is when it
Slightly.
actually picks up a bit. But I just like going by at the time, I don't think the second season was out.
Mm-hmm.
So like, okay, this is not the show for me, because I'm tired of seeing these kind of isekai.
I
Like I've
know.
seen it one too many times.
Like they're enjoyable. Like I love another one I love is Overly Cautious Hero, but that's just
Mm,
because he's overpowered. It's funny as
yeah.
like how he does it. Like he's the most
Well, yeah,
cautious individual.
exactly.
But
I
with
think that. Sorry,
oh no,
you go.
you're
You go.
no,
No, no, no, no. I'm cutting you off. No, no,
you're the
you go. You
fucking
go.
guest. You go.
I'm okay. So with that show, I feel like the cautious factor like is what made it work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing with like these overpowered character shows, is you need some sort of mechanic that makes the fact that they're OP like work, like there needs to be some other thing going on that adds back what them being OP takes away from.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like in that show, his personality type is like what made that show good, right? And
Yep.
the way he interacts with the goddess, I don't remember her name at the top of my head, but their like interactions is what made that show good, right? And it's the
Mm-hmm.
same deal with like One Punch Man, right? Where he's the strongest person in the universe, and there's literally nobody that can stop him. But that's not what makes the show good, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like how he interacts with other characters, and like the setting more so, I think, is what makes that show good. And that's the thing I think a lot of isekai don't have, is they don't have that factor that makes the show interesting, and that's why I drop a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, slime. I don't know about what it is about slime. I really like it. Slime
Mm,
Isekai doesn't have states. When they do, the states go out the window really quickly.
mm,
I've noticed that several times. I don't. It's not like my biggest complaint about the series because a lot of series do that nowadays. Um,
mm,
but like you'll have something really bad happen. You're like, oh my god, we just a bunch of characters just got perished, and then Rimmer's just over here like, oh yeah, there's a prophecy. Oh god, it only has a 2% doing it. I'm gonna take that 2% chance, and the 2% works out. And you're like, oh, thank God. I actually like would be really upset if these characters actually didn't come back. And you're like, but
mm.
also, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like, oh, 2% chance, but somehow that 2% chance
Mm-hmm.
works on every single enemy that ever shows up. And it's just like, I don't know, like, I'm down for characters to die. Like, I think
Mm-hmm.
like modern anime is so scared of killing off characters, and I don't know, especially in isekai. Like, isekai is just so bad for that, in my opinion. But
Which is why an isekai that does stand out to me is ReZero. And that's
yeah,
because there
Rezo's good.
are states.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is constantly dying. That's what people forget. People like, oh, I've had one complaint I heard from someone I met in real life was pretty much, oh, there's no states. Like, he solves it immediately. I'm like, what do you mean there's no state? He fucking dies. Like, flat out dies. She's like, but he comes back. I'm like, no, he's freaking traumatized. Have you died before? No, exactly.
And like, I think ReZero again, It's yeah, sure his abilities are OP, but again, it's not about the OPness that makes the
Mm-hmm.
show interesting, right? It's about the dynamic between him, his abilities, but also like the time travel aspect of it more or less, because it pretty much is just like time travel.
Yeah.
And so it's got the same interest factor to me as like Steins Gate, for example,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the whole point is them going back, trying to approach the situation from a new angle,
Yeah.
and then running into further obstacles as they try to change the tactics, right? And that's like what makes the show interesting. So ReZero, I think, is a really amazing isekai. I love ReZero. Um, Mushoku Tensei, I think is how it's
Mm-hmm.
pronounced, is also like, oh man, that one's so good.
I've heard nothing
I'm
but good
so
things from that one.
Oh, if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. There's like some things about it that are a little odd and understandably so that some people feel uncomfortable with the show. But I think in terms of like its writing and the world building, it's amazing. Like it's easily one of the best isekai of all time,
Mm-hmm.
IMO. But yeah, it's really rare for me that isekai is able to hit that nail of
Mm-hmm.
like using the isekai trope in a way that's actually interesting, because I feel like it's just so many shows are just like reskins. It's like exact same plot, exact same like harem dynamic, exact same this and that, and it's all just like same show, just different characters and
Mm-hmm.
names. And I don't know, it's just yeah, isekai is a bit of
E-
an issue, but
Isekai's enjoyable, but Isekais are enjoyable, but also very shit at the same time.
mm,
They're gonna have a really good one like Mushoku Tensei. I haven't watched it, but I've heard I want to watch it. I actually plan on watching it here soon when the next season comes
mm.
out.
Yeah, you should.
ReZero, you have bangers like those. Then you get something like Ovikash Hero, which is kind of shit, but also very fucking enjoyable. But you,
There's the weird like occasional ones that are objectively like not good, but they
mm-hmm.
have like a charm to them, right? I feel like the most recent example I can think of that is the it just aired this last season. Uh shit, what's it called? The Eminence of something.
Eminence of Shadow.
Yeah, that one. Like that one, it's like it's not good. There's absolutely nothing about that show that like makes it like good or like excellent, but it still was like really entertaining to
Mm-hmm.
watch, right? It still had like something about it that was really charming and made me want to keep watching it every week, right?
Yeah.
So there's the occasional like outliers like that just pop up and do surprisingly well. But yeah, it's isekai as a whole, like I don't know. It's just I guess the boom, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
you have so many like mangakas and people just trying to like capitalize off that.
Yeah.
But it's a weird genre. Lots of bangers, but lots of duds.
Yeah. So I kind of want to dive into music a bit because I
Mm.
know anime has like OSTs and stuff. Does anime OSTs inspire you to make music at all? Is that
Oh,
one of
for
your
sure.
big inspirations?
I would, yeah. Anime is kind of the thing that got me into the music that I'm currently
Mm-hmm.
making. Prior to anime stuff, I was really into, I guess, like alternative rock,
Mm-hmm.
like indie rock was the kind of stuff I was into beforehand. Um, but then one day I was watching, what is it? Psychopaths, I
Yeah.
think it was, and the end song in Psychopaths. I don't remember which song it is, but it's a song by Egoist,
Mm-hmm.
and Egoist is just one of my all-time favorites. Ryo, the producer, he's also part of Supercell. He absolutely does amazing work. I love everything he does. He's still to this day like one of my biggest influences. So yeah, I would say for sure like Annie songs have been a huge influence, and they still are. It's kind of like what introduced me to Japanese music in general. And of course, like since I've gotten into Annie songs, I've been exploring just Japanese music in general, and I still find like the whole scene, even outside of Annie songs, to be like incredibly inspiring and influential. And it's been really cool seeing them overlap a lot too. Like I feel like it's very common now in the anime industry for them to like hire bands or like bring in like pre-existing bands, right? To make the songs of ends and openings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Like Koshunie is one that I really love too, and they're like the band that did was it the opening of I want to say it was the opening of Tokyo Ghoul
Yeah.
Re. I don't know. There's so many now. I can't remember, but the song is called Asphyxia, and it's amazing song. But what I really love about anime is like you can find these bands that weren't originally associated with like anime in any way, right?
Yeah.
And then you can go listen to the music like outside of that stuff, and there's like so many good bands that I found thanks to that. But yeah, any songs, huge influence. It's pretty much like all I listen to these days. It's very rare I actually listen to Western music anymore.
Mm-hmm. So
But yeah, I'd say it's massive.
when did you first doing commission work for music?
Commissions, I think, started back in like 2016. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been a minute. Like I've been doing it for a while now. I think my first client, I want to say it was Amelie actually. Was It was either Amelie or Sapphire. I don't remember who came first, but
Mm-hmm.
the first song that me and Amelie did together was like a song from Mystic Messenger, which I think is like what's the word? It's that genre of game that's for like directed at like women. It's where you have like all the hot, anime guys, and it's like one of those time Atome, I think they're called, right? Atome.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like an Atome game, and it was actually a really fun project. I'm really glad I got to work on that one. But yeah, 2016. To answer the original question,
Mm-hmm.
was when I first started taking commissions.
So what type of improvements have you seen since you started?
Mm, Improvements have been honestly like across the board really good. Um, I think taking on commissions was actually really useful for me because it kind of like lets you peek into the minds of like other songwriters and other like producers and stuff because you're essentially like recreating their music, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you learn a lot of things about like rhythm and like um chord voicings or
Yeah.
like how to like piano, for example. Piano is something I didn't do at all before taking commissions. Like I could maybe like play a couple chords, but I was not in any means someone that could like write piano parts, right? And now I feel like very confident in my piano parts. I can't play piano, but I'm very good at like making piano parts and just arranging them, right? And that goes for like strings and even guitar. Like guitar was my instrument that I played before even taking commissions. It's
Mm-hmm.
like it's my main instrument, but even my guitar work and like really everything has improved a lot just because it's doing the commission work has like opened me up to a lot of different styles and stuff, right? So it's been a really good experience overall to sort of do that kind of work. I highly
Yeah.
recommend it to anybody that's into music.
So what has been some of the hardest like tracks you've ever had to do since doing commissions?
Hardest tracks. Um it's hard to say like what was the hardest because a lot of it is just like experimentation. I feel like is probably the quote unquote hardest part of some projects because not all of them are like cut and dry in terms of like what I need to do. There's usually in some genres a lot of like sound design work that needs to be done, and sound design is like it's really just like a mixed bag. Like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's like a lot of almost randomness involved in it. So in those type of projects, it's a little more complicated, but I can't really think of anything specific off the top of my head. But more recently, I did the lore
Mm-hmm.
audio for Amelie's 2.0 debut, and that was like a really new challenge for me because that project itself, I did like everything that was related to the audio.
Mm-hmm.
So like I did the music for it, I did the sound design for it, like the foley, like all the little sounds that you hear in a regular like video, like all the footsteps, the sword clashing sounds, like pretty much anything that you hear in a video. That was what I was doing on that project, right? So
Yeah.
it was a very new challenge for me, and dealing with all the other elements involved, like the video team, and like adjusting timings of things so it worked better um for like the visual side of things. And there's like a lot of new challenges essentially. So I would say I don't know. That one's up there for sure, and just the fact that it was a very new experience.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah.
Kind of like did a big trip there, but
So I heard you mention. Did you mention Mystic Messenger?
yeah,
I never.
me and Amma did the OP. I think the opening of it.
Mm.
You
I've
know what?
I've never heard of it. What is Mystic Messenger?
I I mean I can't say I'm super familiar with it myself. She just sent me the song and I just, remade the instrumental, but
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it's a mobile phone otome game is what I think it is to
Yeah.
my understanding. So now basic, you know, like romance simulator type game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with hot ikemen type guys.
Hey,
So I think that's the general vibe of it. I haven't played it though, so I don't know.
what do you mean I haven't played it? You're God gamer.
Don't call me out like this. I don't play Mystic Messenger all the time. What do you mean?
I
I'm
never
not
play it.
trying to-
No. It's not like I have to go on and get my daily Missing Messenger stuff. No. Why would I ever do
I'm doing my
that?
dailies. I'm not trying to look at hot anime men. What do you mean?
I mean, I wouldn't blame you. Hey,
True.
I don't blame you at all. There's some anime man you're like, I may not be gay, but goddamn,
There's some good-looking dudes out there.
I'm inspired to be like you someday. And you realize, oh shit, he's a VTuber, or oh shit,
He's a VTuber.
he's an anime character. He ain't real. God damn it.
Yeah, you can't compete with that. Can't compete with the 2D.
No, you can't. So I love how I always start off with asking the guest on about like who are they, and then immediately we're like Diablo,
Diablo.
and then we
yeah.
went into like
You just skip
cooking
the
out of
intro.
nowhere. Screw the intro.
Hi, my name's Alterclad.
So I want to give you a chance since we're coming near the end. I want to give you a chance to kind of tell the audience who you are, because I know, like you said, we went into music, and this is a good transition. You are a music writer, a songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That-
who is Alterclad to you?
Who is Alterclad? That's a deep, deep question.
Yeah, I want
Let
to
me
know
pull
the
up my
deeps.
10-page lore for you right now. No, I'm just kidding. Alterclad is a songwriter and music producer who also does commission-based work. Okay, well that's my like Twitch raid spiel. Yeah, so I'm just a music producer. I write songs and music. Primarily for myself, I do like Vocaloid work. So if like you're into like Vocaloid rock music with lots of J-rock inspiration. That's kind of the sound I am.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of like commission work as we discussed, so I do like instrumentals and BGM. I've been doing a lot of BGM more recently actually,
Yeah.
so I've been like dipping my toes into like more of the VTuber space. I've been doing like a lot of VTuber clientele work, and that's been really really fun because I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed the VTuber space a lot, right? So that's been really fun. But at the end of the day, I'm just a silly little dude making songs on the internet. That's who I am.
Where would you go for if, say, someone was looking to hire you? Where would you want them to go?
You can honestly just DM me on Twitter. Not sure how that's gonna work now with the whole new DMing system that they just introduced, but if not there, then you can just email me. I have like my link, or like I think I have my email on my Twitter, and then like if not there, it's like my link tree is linked there too, and all the info you could ever try to find is there, including my home address and the 3 numbers on the back of my credit card.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Also, your phone number too. We gotta have
Yeah,
everything.
of course.
It also has his real name on there. His name
Yeah,
isn't
just my
Alterclad.
full.
It's actually Phil Phillips.
Yeah, I'm John Apex.
John
Nice to meet
Apex.
you.
Yeah, that's even better. Yeah, no, actually, you're Alejandro Saab. You also Sayu, but you also Alterclad.
Yeah,
You have
secretly saw you. Yeah.
you have many different personas, man.
Yeah, I'm actually every VTuber. I'm actually all of them. I am Hololive. I am Niji Sanji. I am V Shoujo. John V Shoujo. Nice to meet you.
I will link everyone in chat to your Twitter if anyone
Thank you.
wants
Appreciate
to.
it.
And I'm gonna give you 3 more questions, and then I'll end it there.
Sounds like a
So
plan. I'm down.
let's see what 3 questions I can come up with.
Dun 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 dun
So
dun
I actually
dun.
want to find out from you one thing I
Mm-hmm.
was really hoping to get to, and that is actually when it comes to dissatisfied customers, clientele.
Ooh,
That
spilling the
is
tea apparently.
that is something that does happen, where you have people who don't like the product they receive and ask you to redo it, stuff
Mm.
like that. How is some
Mm-hmm.
ways you kind of go about that? Because I'm sure
Um,
out of the like 7+ years now that you have been doing this, you had to have at least one who gave you something and they kind of changed it last minute.
mm-hmm. Um, yeah, like that happens. It's pretty common, in
Mm-hmm.
fact, for clients to request changes. I don't think I've ever really had an issue with someone just straight up like not liking whatever I delivered.
Yeah.
It kind of depends, of course, like on the project too, right? Usually when it comes to doing like cover instrumentals or whatever, right? Usually there has never been an issue just because it's really straightforward. There's not really much to mess up with that.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to more custom made types of work like BGMs or original songs, right? Um, there's usually feedback, but the thing is, like, I try to take as many steps as possible to avoid being off the mark in the first place when it comes to that type of work. So usually before I even take a commission, I'll like ask them for a bunch of references. I'll be
Yeah.
like, okay, what's the mood you're going for? What's the sort of arrangement that you have in mind, right? So I try to find out as much as possible before I even start, just so I have a very clear direction. But of course, that doesn't mean it's always like a perfect fit right off the bat, and they're usually there can often be change requests, but they're usually pretty minor. Like, hey, can you maybe change this section a little more to be a little more energetic or maybe less energetic? And it's usually not like a straight up, I hate all of this. This all sucks. Like, I don't think I've ever gotten that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's usually, it comes with the job, right? Especially with
Yeah.
the more custom work, right? So it's pretty normal, and I've never really had any issues with it
Mm-hmm.
necessarily. So it's been pretty good overall. And if I don't know if there's ever been anybody that was dissatisfied with the end product, I have not heard about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe everybody's been secretly hating my deliveries,
Yeah.
but
Everyone's over
um
here like, what the fuck is this shit? Ah, jeez.
I
Ah,
mean,
jeez.
sometimes it's hard to like be like, oh yeah, I'm not into this at all, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And understandable. It can be one of those type of situations. So if there's ever been anybody like that, might be. But
I'm
yeah,
I'm
it's
not
it's
gonna
it's
lie.
been pretty streamlined.
I
Mm.
personally have never commissioned you once, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to at some point. That's a little bit down the road, but depending if I actually go through what I'm thinking about doing. But
Mm.
what I do know is from your work alone, because I do attend some of your streams. You have seen me in your chat, even if you
Of
don't see
course,
me in chat. I'm in your
always
chat.
appreciate it.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm watching, stalking.
You're lurking.
Um, but what I have noticed is like you do a lot of like cool beats, a lot of beats I like, and you do it so
Thank you.
fluidly. Like there's a lot of things you have made like recently on Twitter. Let me see if I can pull it off. You made
Mm.
Oshinoko inspired song, correct?
Oh yeah, Ocean. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be releasing that pretty soon.
Which is very nice. I think a lot of the work you do is very very awesome. I'll play a little
Thank
bit of
you.
it on stream real quick for anyone.
Yeah, go for it.
That's all him. Like he does do amazing work, especially when he like tries to sing and turns British. You know, even with that, he does amazing work. I
Yeah,
highly recommend him.
that's funny that you say those two things in context because the Oshinoko the little it's like a little mini cover that I'm working on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this when I was recording vocals for like the Idol, right? That's like where that British tweet came from because I was listening back to one of my takes, and I don't know some days or not some days, but just sometimes I'll like do weird things with my vowels and like they just sound kind of British,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like I just emphasize like the O's too much, or like I don't know. It someone's falling for the cues, let him lose his head over you, or something. I don't know. I'll just do like these weird like little like I don't know pronunciations that makes it sound I'm kind of like English or something. But that's like those things were related. That's why I kind of like brought that up again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's gonna be hopefully releasing later this week, maybe tomorrow or Friday. We'll see. We'll see. I'm kind of working on the video side of it, but I'm trying to do more of those actually. I think I really enjoyed making that, just like taking
Mm-hmm.
this song and totally flipping it, right? And making it into something totally different in terms of like the sound and genre, right? So I really enjoy doing that stuff. Me and Amma actually did a few songs like that. We did like you know Into the Unknown from Frozen.
Mm-hmm.
So we took that song, right? And we made it into like this really creepy, dark, like sounding track, right? Which was really fun because the original is very like you know orchestral and like positive sounding, and it was really cool taking like the melody, like the vocal, and like making it into this like creepy dark and like
Mm-hmm.
anxiety inducing song. So I really enjoy like doing that with songs, and I'm hoping to do more stuff like Idol in the future where I just
Mm-hmm.
like alterfy them essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for it.
So you do when you say you release music, you have a YouTube and a Spotify account that you release music on, correct?
Yep, I do.
So I'll put links to those in the description on this
Oh,
YouTube
thank you.
stream, as well as I'll put it in chat real quick if anyone wants to. And the final two questions are related. Well, one of them is related to burnout, and the other one will be future. So when it
Okay.
comes to burnout, I want to find out, how do you deal with the burnout? Because I know, especially going off of, doing commissions, doing work around what you do, there's bound to be some type of burnout, and I'm more or less trying to figure out how is some ways you deal with that burnout.
So for me, burnout is something I alleviate by having a lot of variety on my plate. So usually I'll have like two to four, I would say, projects on the go at one time. So if I'm feeling like tired of one project or just like not in the mood for it, I usually just switch to something else, and that
Mm-hmm.
helps kind of keep the motivation going. Because if I'm not into something, there's usually another project that I am a little more motivated to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll do a bit on that, and then maybe I can come back to the other song like a day or two later, and then feel a little more refreshed working on it, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of like how I generally avoid generally how I avoid burnout is
Mm-hmm.
just like keeping a lot of variety on my plate and not really taking too much of the same kind of stuff.
I mean, that's a good way to do it. I mean, having
Mhm.
variety is always something you want to do, and avoiding burnout is tough regardless,
Mhm.
just because at the end of the day it will happen.
Yeah, it happens to everybody, of course.
Everyone has those moments where it doesn't go their way, where it doesn't turn out the way they want to, and it's
Mm.
overcoming those issues that is the real challenge.
Mhm.
Just because it is, like I said, it is hard.
It is.
I fully understand that much because I know I've done it.
Yeah, I think just having two like other things that you enjoy in your life are a good way to like balance it out too, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not constantly working on music 24/7 around the
Oh yeah.
clock. I leave time for other things I enjoy, right? So I think, having a good work-life balance is also like an important factor, which I think is something, as creators we often struggle with because,
Mm-hmm.
we're passionate about making stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that's so we want to do it like all the time and like adult days and all weeks of the month, but it's really important to, of course, like do other things with your life and just take time away from it to
Mm-hmm.
refresh.
So
But yeah, I think having that is good.
the final question I want to get over with you
Mm.
is talking about your future. What is the future
Future.
looking like for Alterclad?
Oh God, the future. It's so
Oh
scary.
God.
Yeah.
Any Apex
um,
tournaments? Any music
Apex tournaments.
tournaments?
I don't about all that.
Wait.
I'm retired from Apex, but I think for the future, I mean, of course, just music stuff is the priority. More original songs.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to do more. Hmm. In terms of like streaming content, I do want to do more music stuff too. Like I'd like to start doing like more like acoustic guitar, like karaoke stuff. But for like the general direction of Alterclad, yeah, just original songs is the priority. I'd like to do like an EP or something, or even an album at some point. But
Mm-hmm.
I think in the future too, I'll be doing um, more vocal work with my music. Up till now, like all my original songs have been Vocaloid songs, which I really love. Like, and that's intentional because I do really love Vocaloid. That's been a big part of my um, music journey. Like, Vocaloid has been huge in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the future, I want to start doing like two versions of my releases. So I'll have like a Vocaloid version and then like a me version, and I think it's gonna be really fun too. 'Cause it's a bit ambitious, but I'm gonna be trying to make the Vocaloid version Japanese and then like my version English. So
Yeah.
there'll be like an English and Japanese version of it, and that's gonna be, I think, really cool for reaching out to both the Japanese demographic and like the Western demographic.
It sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. So that's kind of the game plan right now. Nothing too insane. I guess nothing too ambitious, but
Mm-hmm.
keeping it humble to a degree.
Nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that. I mean, most of the time you
Hmm.
don't have to have like the most extravagant like plans.
Yeah,
You
sometimes it's best to take it step by step.
exactly. Like most of my plans are very much so trying and get myself back in order. I mean,
Mm.
that's about it. Like it doesn't take much more than that just to get me to be like, oh yes, I know what I'm gonna do, but I also know what I'm gonna do at the same time.
Yeah. It's always a bit of a mystery, but
Hmm.
as long as you have a general idea of what you want to do, that's, that's good enough, I think.
Also, I hear you retired from Apex.
Yeah, I'm not taking it as seriously these days. Like the passion's a little gone, a little bit,
Hey,
I'll be honest.
if it makes you feeling better, I haven't touched a game in a while. I've
Yeah.
officially said I'm done playing Apex.
It's just the thing with Apex is I do really love the game. But I've come to realize and come to accept that I don't have enough time to put in
Yeah.
the hours that I need to be like at the level I want to be. So I would love to be like a god in Apex, but the only way I could ever accomplish that is to like sacrifice
Hmm.
time away from my music, right? And that's something, of
Yeah.
course, that I'm not willing to do. So it's kind of like whatever. I'm accepted that I'm gonna be Papega at Apex for the rest of my life, and I don't take as much time to play these days, but yeah, I don't know. I still play here and there. I actually have an Apex collab soon, so we're still playing it, but I just I play it a lot more casually now.
Hmm. I
Mhm.
know. I know. Usually for myself, I have no intention of coming back to Apex and playing it. I'll play for
Mm.
like tournaments if people need it. Like if
Yeah.
one of my friends needs a sub for Apex, come in. I will be more than welcome to be like, yeah, I can come in and play. I'm
Mm.
not bad at the game. Like I'm not super like even if I've never played it in a while, I still could make good calls. I can still aim pretty well. I've always had the. I know a lot of my friends always call me like a master level player,
Mm.
but I never put the effort to do so. I don't have
Mhm.
the skills like I used to, and most of the time
Mm.
it's just I get bored of it. I want to play other
Mhm.
games that make me want to have fun or give me a
Yeah,
better
exactly.
challenge, which is why I play
Exactly.
gives myself stupid ideas like can I beat one of the main story levels of Spider-Man without touching the ground? Can I beat can I beat a big boss without using my webs or something like that? Something
Mhm.
stupid, something that's hilarious. Um, but it's also really difficult to do stuff. That's what I like to do. I want to challenge myself with games that seem easy. Play God of War Ragnarok without, I don't know, using my ads or something.
That's a little psychotic. I
A lot
appreciate
of
it.
a lot of fun issues that I have with myself that I want to just destroy my mental, I guess.
Yeah,
I'd be scared of myself nowadays.
you're
Um,
self-sabotaging for real.
but I think my biggest downfall when it came to Apex was just I want to play other games. I don't want to be
Mm,
stuck playing Apex. I love playing
yeah.
Skyrim. I love playing Spider-Man. Most of my streams are legit variety. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know what I stream that day because I don't know what I'm gonna stream. I can be playing Phoenix Wright having a blast, next thing you know I'm playing Skyrim. I could be playing
Yeah.
Skyrim, next thing you know I'm playing Fortnite with a bunch of people. I might be playing Fortnite, then I play Apex, and then I play um Mario or something. It's always
Mm-hmm.
different. It's always something I want to do differently. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just because I don't want to do the same game because
Exactly.
it's boring. Like I play the same game in my own time. I play WWE when I'm on my own or Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I play WWE on my own is because I usually am doing something and I have nothing to watch. So you see me just put on a random match. I'll pull up WWE, put it to the left screen, and just put on a random match and edit. And I'm watching as two PCs fight out. I'll do the same thing with like NBA 2K22 or Madden. Just have a random gameplay in the left, and I'm just editing while I'm watching.
Damn, okay, that's interesting. I feel like I hear, people open up streams and have that on, but you just got the WWE in the background. Okay, I
I mean, I
see.
do pull up streams and
Unique.
stuff too, so don't worry. I do both.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have like, say I'm listening to you. I just have you in the background as you're making music, and I'm watching WWE.
Yeah, the WWE thing is just like I think it's the first I've heard of that one.
It's so
That's a
stupid.
unique
Like,
one.
what I should 100% record myself on a daily life of me, and you just see me editing or making a script or just doing something on my right screen as like WWE Madden or something is going on my left game. Like,
That's
I don't do
crazy.
anything. I'm gonna put it out there. I legit don't take control. Sometimes I
Mhm.
have, but I'm playing. I do play on occasion where I actually do take control or do like my GM and actually like do stuff. But most of the time it's just me watching a match. Like, oh, this would be
Yeah.
cool. Put on like
I
a
mean, they
random
have there
character.
for a reason.
Or I've also done this where I created random characters. Like I created this just tells you how messed up my brain can be sometimes. I put on a match between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, the presidential rematch, but in WWE.
That's actually good. That's some good content right there.
But I won't say who won because no politics.
True. Good call.
Good call, good call. But yeah, thank you so much. I kind of went off topic at the end.
It's all good. It's all good.
But thank you so much
Thanks
coming
for
on.
having me.
Of course.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. I
I
had
hope
fun.
I hope you had a lot of fun because I mean I had a lot of fun.
No, I did. It was good. It was fun nerding out a bit.
Nerding out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna take some questions from chat a little bit. We're gonna do about 5 minutes of questions from chat, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So Soul wanted to ask, which makes me wonder, Tal. Question for both of you: do you think we are overstimulated as a society today? I'll let you
I think
answer
we
first.
are. I think we are. There's just so much happening these days, and I, how do I phrase this? I think a lot of the culture that's developed now, especially online culture, is a result of overstimulation. Overstimulation. There we go. And you can't really do anything about it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things that just kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah.
But it definitely makes you. I think it's really important to take responsibility for yourself as an individual and remove a bit of that stimuli from your life. And it's like all the more reason to touch grass more, essentially,
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to say. And it's good to take breaks because that is kind of like how the social media culture works now, is it's just constant stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's I think that's a large. Okay, I'm not gonna get into that actually, but I think it's good for your mental to detach a little more because there's just so much going on all the time.
I will, for myself personally, I do think we're overstimulated. I can give many examples. Like, the three big ones I can give is, for example, YouTube Shorts and TikTok. I don't know if you've noticed that Like no one can listen to a video anymore. There has to be like Subway Surfers,
Yeah, yeah.
GTA at the bottom, instead of just watching. There's been times where they have like an episode of Family Guy playing, like legit at the
Hmm.
top, and at the bottom is just like whatever this slicing game is because people can't
Yeah,
pay attention. Like no
yeah,
one's
yeah, yeah.
attention span is good, and that's the worst part about being overstimulated is everyone's attention span is so fucking limited nowadays. Like even
That's me
mine.
like watching those Reddit, like the Reddit posts, but then there'll be like the Minecraft like little like obstacle course below it. Like I watch those all the time.
hmm I know, like
But yeah.
a big thing that I've noticed with myself, there's sometimes I'll click on YouTube short and just keep on scrolling, and it's been an hour. You're
Hmm.
like, oh fucking hell, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's a pit.
It's an absolute pit. I hate it, but it is so easy. Come over here, like I could be watching this really fun video that Moist made, but these YouTube shorts, and it's
Yeah,
like I'm on
exactly.
here longer than watching like an anime episode.
Yeah. And it's like I think it's affected a lot of our ability to experience a lot of things. Like I think that's a large part too why you see like songs, like kind of throwing in a music point of view here.
Mm-hmm.
Songs these days are so short. Like
Yep.
it's very common for songs to be like approximately 2.5 minutes, where songs used to be like 3.5 to 4 minutes in the past, right? Like they've gotten way shorter, and there's even some songs nowadays that are like less than 2 minutes, and it's just like it's crazy. And I think that is kind of a side effect of this overstimulation, right? There's just like so much going on, so people will only kind of pay attention for this short window of time.
Mm-hmm. I know with like YouTube and stuff, I switched to short form
Mm,
content, not YouTube Shorts completely. Um,
yeah.
I have taken a break, but a lot of my content has been like 5 to 10 minutes long, which is my sweet spot personally. When it comes to making videos, I generally think I do some of my best work in 5 to 10 minutes
Mm,
because I make fun jokes. Like a lot of them are very funny videos. That's what I go for. Is something
mm,
to turn your brain off and have a joyous time. Like I probably like you've seen one of my videos, the
mm.
Yoshinoko one, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And that's the type of content I make. Like it's not for everyone. I'm not gonna say like this is like the greatest content ever because it's not. It's far from it. I legit think it's like some of the worst content, but god damn it, do I love it.
And that's
It's
the important
funny.
part, passion.
It's fun for me.
Hmm.
And I get like a lot of compliments from people that like, oh, this is really enjoyable. This is really fun. And then you also get the
Hmm.
comments of like, oh, you're just this person's rip off. I'm like, yeah, sure, I don't give a shit. Go ahead with that argument. Um, yeah,
Always gonna be haters.
there's valid stuff. Like for you, it's not
Mhm.
your style of content, which is perfectly fine. Um,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna dish anyone for that.
Hmm.
Tao fits in 20 memes and 30 Matt Pat faces in 5 minutes. Pretty impressive. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. I did do a lot of memes in that because I know my Dragon Ball video, I do a style that I usually compare it to a combo of uh not Moist Critical. Moist Critical is more Twitch inspired. But for
Mm.
YouTube, it is Giguk and Spooky. Too Spooky is my style of content. If they had
Mhm.
a disgusting baby, if their channel decided to just make a disgusting baby, that's my channel.
Mhm.
Yeah, Soul wanted to ask one question earlier. How did you get into content creation or the field of doing music work?
So music is something I got into when I was in high school. I started playing guitar. One of my friends came over who also played guitar, and I think he played something, and it kind of just inspired me to try myself, right? And so that was kind of like how I got into music at the start, and then later on years, I got more interested in producing and like arrangement, like writing full songs. So that's how I started getting to that. And then after some time of doing that, then I started doing commission work with like Emma and all those people. And it's kind of just sort of snowballed from there, right? So that's how like the music side of things started. And then like in regards to Twitch and just streaming, um, I don't know, like that stuff I've always been like inspired by VTubers to an extent. So it's something I've always been interested in giving a go. And so last year is kind of like, okay, let's just do it. Let's see how it goes, right? But yeah, that's pretty much a short form, too long didn't read type thing of the history. I think you are muted, by the way. I don't know if that's intentional, but
Oh, I am muted. I don't know what that happened, but I got muted a little while ago. But yeah, that's a good answer. I mean, mine is very
I'm gonna
simple.
sip my coffee.
For YouTube and Twitch, the only reason I'm here is because of Brids. Brids ADA has a speech impediment. I do too. I have a part paralyzed dog. So because of that, I never thought I could get in content creation. I legit thought it would be impossible for me. Because I cannot do this. I can't sing. I can't do any of this. I don't have a good voice. But I saw someone who sounded so smoothly, with a speech impediment, go on to make content. And that got me excited. And that's
Hope
why...
everything is okay over there.
What was that? I just see you shaking. What the fuck's going on? What am I missing? Oh god. Oh fuck.
Welcome back.
So I thought you just mentioned I was muted on Twitch, but apparently I was muted on both.
Yeah. I was like, okay, maybe something's going on, you know.
So I'm
Oh,
gonna
good.
repeat what I just said.
Yeah.
I said good answer, and I made a comment that pretty much how I got into Twitch was because of Bridge or BC Bridge at the time. And that was because he has a speech impediment. I have a speech impediment as well. I actually have part of my tongue is paralyzed, so it's
that is
hard.
A title.
It's hard to announce words sometimes, and because of that, I never thought I'll be able to do anything regarding content creation, which is why I never pursued it early on. Which is why I never did anything, even though I had ideas that I would love to do it. Like I had plenty of ideas when I was younger of what I would do, but because of my voice, I always said I wouldn't be able to. And because of that, I backed off. And it wasn't until I discovered Briggs out of nowhere. I went on Twitch and he came up. I discovered him through him, Rant Cafe, and Nuts. Because that's why he was brought up on my page to begin with, was because of, like, I recognized the name from Rant Cafe. And all I remember is he made a comment about him having a speech impediment. I'm like, what the fuck? No, you don't. What the hell? You don't sound like that at all. And people nowadays don't even know I have one anymore, which is very weird to me. That I sound fluid to most people. There's sometimes I don't sound fluid at all, but that's not the issue.
Yeah, no, it's cool when you find people that are kind of in a similar boat to you, right? In terms of like struggles and difficulties, and kind of gives you that extra push, right, to just do what you want to do.
Which is why I'm here. I mean, he may not be the inspiration of my actual content, but he was the one who inspired me to get off my ass. So
we all need somebody like that, right?
Yeah, like I said, I have plenty of inspiration for how I do Twitch, how I do YouTube. Who's some inspiration you have for your own content?
That's a good question. Jeez, I feel like it changes so much these days. Like it's like a different person every month. I think originally when I started, Ina from Hololive was like a really big influence for me. I really enjoyed how chill and cozy her streams were. Asu is of course like a big one for me too. He's just like absolute max vibes, that guy. So he's a big one. But I don't know, more recently I feel like I haven't really implemented this influence at all, but I feel like Connor or like Dog VA, he has such a good energy and like has such a good like mindset to content creation. So I'm trying to implement more of that sort of mentality to my content. But at the end of the day, I feel like comfy cozy is gonna be like my bread and butter of content, right? So I still enjoy like content creators that do that kind of style.
I mean, like I said, my Twitch, like I told you my YouTube, but my Twitch inspiration is Doug. I only discovered him like last year. Moist Critical will be up there of how I made some of my jokes. Just
Yeah.
making random references. I love doing that. I always that was one thing I always loved doing, but I never implemented it until I was just like, oh, it works for him. Maybe I should start doing it. And I started implementing it. I love doing it. Or who's another one I watched that Nice Wig.
He's good too.
He got me into commentating for Apex.
Mm.
He got me, like, how I do my commentary is I love doing him and missing him with Moist Critical type content.
Yeah.
Which, if I will say, my last tournament wouldn't be the best one to go over because I was super happy I had other people there because I was not feeling correct that day, so I probably shouldn't even gone on. But I was super happy I had other people. But I usually prefer. I think after this, I most definitely prefer doing like commentary by myself, just because it's so much easier to kind of get my thoughts across, and as well as just make jokes with other people. Like, it's fine to have people come in. I love talking, especially at the end.
Yeah.
With someone else, like having like a discussion, which is what I thought I would be doing most of the time. But I know we had
that
like
back and forth is really fun.
there was quite a few people, and there were sometimes I just flat out muted to start joking around, because I didn't know the vibes of some of the people. 'Cause there was some people I never met.
Yeah, it's always a mixed bag.
oh god,
Yeah.
But that's what I like to do is I like to make jokes as well as just give play by play what I think is gonna happen. I enjoy like Sayu and Amelie. They have some
Of course.
inspiration.
Yeah.
But even Sea Dog, like you mentioned, like I love what he does, but it's mainly Dud Dug, because he's been the person I want to be like in terms of like content. That's where the challenge ideas came from. That's where most of the challenge stuff came from. I think my first challenge was pretty much a Monopoly game. Can I beat like a game against the hardest difficulty of CPU without trading, or can I beat them without with only buying like one property at a time? As in, like, if I buy red, I have to complete that property before buying new ones. That was tough, but it was fun. It was inspirations I got from them. He's never done those, but those are the type of content I knew I could do.
Yeah.
But there's other ones I would like to do. I want to do stuff involving chat. I want to do stuff where I do like voice commands where I get chat to try and trick me to say some words, which I think could be fun. But it's more or less, it's gonna be a little while before I can do that.
Yeah, and it's like experimentation's like part of the process too, right? And figuring out what you do and don't like, and trying different things.
Yeah, and especially with like this series, I want to keep this series going. 'Cause I've been enjoying it. The way I've been making it is so much easier to do. Not easier is, I don't like using the term, but it is easier on my mental is why I should go off. Because this is the second version of my show. I did one called Tau Tots, and that was 2 years ago now.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of my audience do remember the days. I lost passion for the series because I did it so frequently. I do these every Wednesdays now, or try to do almost every Wednesday.
Yeah.
But
no, it's a good show. I like it.
To give you an idea, let me see if I can pull up a calendar from a couple years ago of when I was doing it quite a bit, because I want to pull up a Zet schedule. Where is it? Might not be on this account. Because let me try and see if I can find it, because I know I put it on one of these calendars at least one time. Yeah, so here's a perfect example. I'll have one on Wednesday, and then 2 days later I got another one, and then 3 days later I have another one, or the very next day. It was that.
That's a lot.
Did so much, so many times, where I was constantly putting guests on, where I'll have one, say, today, and then tomorrow I'll have another one, or I'll have two the next day, and I'll constantly do that, constantly stressing me out, because I was also going off of creative questions.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like, it's a lot to handle in such a short span of time.
But because of that, I lost interest, and that's why I don't want to do with this series. But I'm gonna wrap it up here. I don't mean to go on too much longer.
It's all good. It's all good.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all fine. I had fun.
Before we do end it, who do you want to raid? You raid, not me.
God. I'm raiding.
You raid. Who the fuck am I raiding?
Oh God. Oh God. The pressure. Lord, who's on? Let me see. Could we raid? I have a friend by the name of Sukinya, spelled S. Here, I'll spell it in the chat here. She's currently playing Genshin. But she's got a lovely personality. I think y'all guys will like her. She's cool. Let's put it in the chat. But yeah, she's playing Genshin right now. She's cool. I think you guys will like her.
Okay, let me copy and paste that in here. Give her a follow real quick.
For sure. Give her a follow, guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Alter. You
Thank
guys have a
you.
great rest of your night. Give Sukina all the love. They're playing Genshin Impact.
She's great. You guys will like her.
All right. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye-bye.